Oh, man. The Bears will always, always, always be the Bears. As ugly as that game was for the Green Bay Packers, oh, it couldn't have ended any better. It couldn't have ended any better. Bears setting up for a game-winning field goal, a gimme, a 46-yard field goal. Cairo Santos been so good for the Bears. And who blocks that field goal? Carl Brooks. Man, what an ending to that game. We have a lot to dive into because, hey, let's be honest. It was a ugly, disgusting game for the Packers. There's a few good things that they did on offense. You know, Christian Watson will talk about it. Defense was shaky. It was hard to watch at times, even through the last drive, right? Like just giving up play after play, conversion after conversion. Like they're 3rd and 19 and they still convert that is crazy. But ball doesn't lie. And that ball didn't go through those uprights. And the Packers are a 7-3 football team. And the Bears now have lost 11 straight to your Green Bay Packers. The Packers own the Bears. Done. Plain and simple. They owned them. Call it cursed. Call it whatever. I call it a W for the Green Bay Packers. Wow. Let's dive into it. We'll start on the offense. We'll end with the defense, which we'll talk about. A lot to talk about. But Jordan Love finished the game 13 of 17. 261, a touchdown, an interception. So still had a very poor interception. I think a lot of people, kind of saw that coming. They're like, oh my gosh, there's another terrible, terrible interception within the red zone. Packers have been terrible in the red zone. We'll talk about it. But overall, I liked what I saw from Jordan Love today. And I'll explain why. He looked mobile again. Weeks 4 through 9, he looked immobile. And it affected him. It affected this offense. It affected his ability to make out-of-pocket throws. It affected him to extend plays. And he looked good today. He had no knee brace to start the game, or to finish the game, for that matter as well. And his groin looked not hurt at all. Like it was no issue. When you watch Jordan Love's great play last year at a similar mark in the season, you watch how quick he is, mobility-wise, getting out of the pocket, extending plays, throwing crossbody, whatever it may be. And if you compare that to his highlights, weeks 4 through 9, it looks completely different. He looks like a statue out there. So getting the mobility back here was massive for Jordan Love. This bye week was at a perfect time, and a lot of people are like, yeah, this is probably why we shouldn't have rushed Jordan Love back so many times, and I get that. But overall, I think it was a good day for Love, and he's going to continue to build off of this. We saw the streak he went on last year at around this mark after the Packers were, 3-6 at that time. Complete different situation here in terms of record. We were 6-3 heading into this mark, but still kind of same struggles in terms of the offense. It just so happens we have 6 wins instead of 3. But the Packers, this was supposed to be a great momentum building game, and I think it does build momentum, but it also worries you a little bit because they, again, played down to their competition. I'm not calling the Bears a terrible team because they're not. Caleb looked good today. The Bears defense is legit. They're number 1 in red zone defense, and that's why, not only are we bad at red zone offense, but they have a great defense in the red zone. That's why we struggled today. And the Bears are 4-6, but they're a better football team than 4-6. Yes, they've kind of had the easiest strength of schedule up until this point, up until before the Packers game. And the teams they beat are some pretty bad teams. But they're a solid football team, but the Packers still played down to the competition, and that's a problem. A lot of people always say that for the Packers. They continue to play down to their competition, where you see other teams like the Lions beating the Jags, 52-6 or whatever it was. You see teams like that just continue to smoke bad teams, where the Packers, played the Jags and had to win by a game-winning field goal, albeit against Trevor Lawrence, not Mac Jones, but I digress. The Packers, do play down to their competition, and they did today. Josh Jacobs, I thought, was excellent today. 18 carries, 76 yards, 4.2 average, and a touchdown. This guy continues to be just a focal point of this offense, a workhorse running back that we all expected when we signed him, and he's been a beast for us. Was great on the ground and through the air today. Was our second leading receiver. Jordan Love, 4 for 18 again, and a touchdown, the Love shove, just further showcasing that he's healthy, right? When you see Jordan Love running to the right side and lowering his shoulder, diving for the pylon, he's healthy. He's not shying away from contact, and it's so great to see because Jordan Love, with mobility, is a dangerous, dangerous quarterback. Emmanuel Wilson, 2 for 17. Jaden Reed, 1 for -5. The Packers, still try to implement some of these receiver runs. Teams have it figured out. They have the tape from earlier in the season. It's not going to work much anymore. Once you run something like that so much, teams know what to look for and what sets up that play coming, and they see it, right? Probably shouldn't do it too much anymore, if I'm being honest. Christian Watson, man, what a game. Career game for Christian Watson. A career-high 150 yards on 4 receptions. A 37.5 average is absolutely insane. First had that deep corner route, I think it was, to the right side. Double coverage. Again, a questionable throw by Jordan Love. Nonetheless, Christian Watson, great contested catch down the right side. Then, of course, the crosser route, beating Jalen Johnson, leaving him in the dust. He trips. Christian Watson makes an absolutely ridiculous diving catch, gets up, runs down the sideline, cuts back inside, kind of hurdles a man, gets tackled, long of 60 yards. Great game by Christian Watson. I thought going into this game out of the bye, they would start to implement him more, and they did today, and they need to continue to. Jacobs, the second leading receiver, 4 for 58. We talked about how he was great through the air today. Other than that, disappointing game by some of the other wide receivers in terms of just lack of production. Jaden Reed did have a touchdown, 2 for 23. That first touchdown we scored, the free play, great wherewithal for the Packers to draw. They have 12 men on the defense, get the snap down, free play, throw it in the end zone, touchdown, Jaden Reed. Romeo Doubs, 1 for 17, quiet day, also included a drop. I'll say this, though. You know, when I made my video this week of what the Packers need to fix, it was penalties and drops, and they were only penalized 3 times today, so it's massive. It's massive for this team, and they only had 1 drop. I'd like to see 0, but it wasn't 3 or 4 like week 9, or probably more. I don't even know. It was terrible. So great to only see 1 drop here. It was Romeo Doubs on that out route. It was a beautiful throw by Love early in this game, and an unfortunate drop by Doubs. Outside of that, Chris Brooks, 2 for 13. Wicks got targeted once, no catches. Kraft targeted once, no catches. The one target was the overthrow, the interception, Jordan Love. I fully expected Kraft to have a big day. The Bears are not good at covering tight ends, and I'm honestly shocked I'm seeing a goose egg in terms of receptions and yards for Tucker Kraft in this game, because I really thought they'd utilize him against this Bears defense that can't cover tight ends, but that wasn't the case. The offensive line, I think, had a wonderful performance today. Only allowed 1 sack on Jordan Love for a loss of 1, and it was pretty much, on that, I think that last drive, he pretty much ran out of bounds, and that was the only sack. You call it a sack or not, it's recorded as 1. I thought the run blocking was excellent. Sean Ryan, I think, had a phenomenal day. And not that they have any other choice because Jordan Morgan's now on IR, but Sean Ryan is the future right guard of this team. Now, looking forward, does that mean Elton's maybe the future center? I don't know. We'll talk about that a whole nother time, but nonetheless, great game by Sean Ryan. I thought Zach Tom played really well. Rasheed Walker, good pass blocker, but again, issues run blocking. We saw in that 2-point conversion, just a head scratcher of why you're running directly behind Rasheed Walker, the second worst PFF graded run blocking tackle in the NFL. Didn't make too much sense. And the Packers had a ton of head scratching situations on offense. 2nd and 1, then we get a penalty. Then it's, I believe, 2nd and 6. Then we run that handoff to Jaden Reed, lose 5 yards. Now we're 3rd and 11. It's like, if it was just 2nd and 1 and just, the second one was an RPO and it was an eligible man downfield because Jordan Love held the ball too long. That's what happened. If we just ran the ball there, and it is an RPO, so you have the option to run it, that then falls on Jordan Love there. Just run the ball. It was working against the Bears all day. Just run the ball. And then late in this game, I mean, it was an absolute head scratcher that you're down by 5, right? You're in a divisional game late in the 4th quarter, not super late, still a lot of time on the clock. And you're 4th and goal from the 6. It's not 4th and goal from the 1, the 2, the 3. If it was, I'd understand going for it. And I would agree, even if we didn't get it, I'd be like, all right, that was still a good call. Going for it 4th and goal in the 6, you got to take your points, especially considering it resulted in a Jordan Love trying to run through 3 Bears defenders at the 2-yard line. You got to take your points. And if you take your points, the Bears aren't even setting up for a field goal for the win there. They have to go score. They have to go score to beat you. And maybe we're looking at a different outcome. I have no idea. Luckily, we got a field goal block, but if we didn't get that block, we're sitting here right now on this video going, why in the world didn't we take those points there? Luckily, it didn't come back to bite the Packers, and they got a dub here. Now moving to the Packers defense, and there is a lot to talk about. We'll start with Jair being active, Evan Williams active. Loved seeing Evan Williams back in this defense. Jair was on a snap count and then left before half and didn't return. Just continues to be non-trustworthy in terms of availability, and it's got to be talked about, man. We pay him a lot of money, and the dude barely plays 50% of our games and seemingly rarely ever plays divisional games. That's why I was shocked that he was active after trying it out pregame, but didn't matter. He checked out of this game pretty early and didn't play that many snaps. Outside of that, our cornerbacks, I think, were abysmal today. Javon Bullard in the nickel didn't play too well. Got cooked on man coverage a decent bit. Keyshawn Nixon, again, just continues to never get his head around when a ball is coming his way. And I understand you're in man coverage. Sometimes you can't. But it's a reoccurring theme. Keyshawn Nixon not getting his head around, and it results in a big play for the other team. It did on that fourth and I think it was like 4th and 6 or something, 4th and 4, fade route, back shoulder, Roma Dunze, and it's just right over Nixon's head because he has no idea the ball's coming. So you got to get your head around at certain points, man. Nixon, I was a big believer in him weeks like 6, 7, 8, more so 5, 6, 7. At outside cornerback, and I think that still is his better spot, but he has been a liability, and he was today. And then Carrington Valentine, man. We're all sitting here going, why isn't Carrington Valentine playing? Why so much Eric Stokes? And honestly, they're both bad at this point. I know it's just one game for Valentine, but it was rough to watch. It was rough to watch, and I don't think Stokes played at all. But man, can we just change something? Kalen King off the practice, maybe something, because Valentine was terrible today. If it was a 3rd down and they needed 6, 7, 8, they're going to the sticks, and they were throwing on Carrington Valentine because every single time the dude's like worried about a fade route on 3rd and 4. It's like, dude, so bad coverage, so much bad coverage today. Overall, Valentine, Bullard, Nixon, X kind of had a down game, missed tackle on the Swift run. Evan Williams, I thought, had a pretty decent game. But, man, there's just so many issues with this defense. Now moving to the linebackers. Oh, my gosh, Quay Walker. I mean, how many times do we have to watch this guy just make mistake after mistake after mistake? In football, there's a term, and it's the low man wins. And Quay Walker is quite literally never the low man. He'll make contact with a runner in the backfield near the line of scrimmage, but he's always way too high. And the low man's going to win. And that low man today was Rashawn Johnson. And every single time Quay Walker was making contact in the run lane, he was getting ran over, or at least the runner was getting an extra 3 yards after contact. And all season I've been saying, hey, Quay needs to play better, but I still think he should be on the field. At this point, he might need to be benched. I mean, they just have Edgerrin Cooper sitting there, and he did get more snaps today, but he should be starting. And if you don't think Edgerrin Cooper can play the mic, maybe try Tyron Hopper at this point, because what we're doing now isn't working. And maybe move Quay Walker to edge rusher. Call me crazy, but that was a conversation when we drafted him out of Georgia, was he's versatile. He can rush the passer too, which we do use him as that, mainly a gap, which it works. Hey, we need some more speed around the edge. This team drafted so many heavy edge defenders because we were in a 3-4. Now we make the switch. Now we have heavy, slow edge defenders. Maybe try Quay Walker out there. Maybe. That's my opinion. I think he could be good as that type of player, because commanding the defense and being the one in charge for run fitting, it's not working for Quay. And I would just like to see, honestly, at this point, anyone else in that position. Caleb Williams, I thought, had a good game. I really did. 23 of 31. He looked like he was in command. He was making great timing throws. He did have a couple overthrows, which we've seen all season, just not as many. 95 rating, no touchdowns, no picks. Ran the ball very, very well. It seemed like the Bears, every time they needed to pick up a first, like Caleb Williams was extending the play, running the football, read option. And I don't know how the Packers didn't see some of these read options coming. I was sitting here live streaming going, okay, they're going to run a read option here, and they do. And our defensive end just overcommits, and it's wide open for Caleb Williams. Overall, our run defense, not terrible, but not great. 34 carries, 179 yards, 5.3 average. A little bit is skewed by the 139-yard touchdown run DeAndre Swift, of course, but that still happened. Swift finished 14 of 71, 5.1 average. Caleb, 9 for 70. I will say Halfley adjusted very well, because Caleb was 8 for 60 at halftime and only had one more carry for 10 yards. I saw him running some more quarterback spies in the second half, so great adjustment there by Halfley. In terms of wide receivers, no one went crazy off against this defense. DJ Moore, 7 for 62. Roma Dunze, 6 for 65. Cole Kmet, 3 for 42. Keenan Allen, 4 for 41. Overall, this defense was not great. Poor tackling. It seemed like every run play, our defensive backs were getting blocked completely out of the play, washed out of the play, and we couldn't get off any blocks. Seeming a lot of the time, like the Bears were blocking way more physically than our defense was ready to handle. However you want to shape it. If you want to say the Packers aren't a good football team, or they didn't deserve to win that game, look how sloppy it was. They're a 7-3 football team, and their only losses are against teams with better records than them. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions. They are a good football team, and good football teams, regardless of how sloppy it looks, how disgusting it looks, find ways to win football games. Even if that's the fingernail of Carl Brooks blocking a field goal to win the game by 1 point against at the time, 4-5 football team. Teams that are good find ways to win, and the Packers did today. They're a 7-3 football team. I still have high hopes for this team. I still think they're going to continue to stack success, get better on offense, get better on defense, get better in the red zone, because heading into this game, we were 29th in the NFL, and that's been a massive, massive problem. Great day for Christian Watson. Great day for Josh Jacobs. Great to see Jordan Love healthy. Got some issues on this defense. Pass rush, again, kind of non-existent until very, very late. And finally, Rashawn Gary shows up and gets a sack late in this game, and gives the most devious look to the sideline. I loved it. But overall, we still got to get more pass rush. Getting 3 sacks on the Bears after they let up 9 against the Patriots with a porous offensive line doesn't cut it, obviously. So hopefully something can change. But I did like what I saw from Brenton Cox Jr. getting more snaps today after the Preston Smith trade. LVN, pretty rough day. Enigbari, pretty rough day. Again, Kenny Clark is just non-existent. Still 0 sacks on the season, which is absolutely insane considering how much we're paying him. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. I appreciate you guys coming by to the channel. What a wonderful victory. Even if it looks terrible, hey, it's a win over the Bears, and that's 11 straight. The Bears haven't won against the Packers since 2018. Mitchell Trubisky was quarterback. Caleb Williams was a sophomore in high school. The Packers own the Bears. They do. They continue to own the Bears. They're 11-0 under Matt LaFleur against the Bears. Just went into Chicago, tough place to play, and beat a division opponent, 7-3. Appreciate you guys coming by to the video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like down below. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.